All right, let's get some more of this doom and gloom now. We're joined by Dr Henning Meyer from the Global Policy Institute. Thanks very much for talking to us. Quite interesting looking at the comments from the UK Finance Minister, or the Chancellor as he's known here, Alistair Darling, saying that people are going to have to just start living within their means. But in terms of the government response, it's the opposite of that. They're going to borrow more, start spending more, aren't they?
Yeah, well, but there's a distinction between private debt and debt the government might acquire by investing. Private debt, obviously, you have to live within your means, and if you don't do that, what has happened over the last couple of years, you eventually run into trouble. The government, the recession will be costly for the government anyway. So either if you don't do anything, you have a lack of income, because people will lose their job, income tax revenue will go down, and you have extra expenditure on unemployment benefits. So you can invest, and that's the strategy of the government. You can try to invest to avoid the hardest cases and try to have some positive, proactive policies.
There's no evidence, though, that what the government here in the UK has done so far has had any impact. Is there any sign that the policies, the rescue packages being instituted across Europe and other parts of the world are actually doing anything that they're trying to achieve at the moment?
Well, it's very difficult to measure the impact because you can't really tell what would have happened if they didn't rescue the bank or they hadn't done X and Y. What you have to do is you have to implement these policies and have to monitor them, whether they work or not. You will have to be reactive, you will have to monitor the situation very closely, not just in the UK, not just in Europe, but globally.
But I mean, let's take other European countries, for example. I mean, Germany's also got an enormous rescue package in place, yet it's continuing to slide. 2009 looks like it's going to be even worse than 2008. I mean, are the policies that governments are taking to try and get their economies out of trouble the right policies?
Well, that depends. I mean, it's quite interesting how interconnected these economies are. For instance, the German economy is very heavily reliant on export. So basically, the measures that governments take to prop up their national demand in other places, such as the UK, such as France, such as the United States, will have a big impact on the German economy as well. So that's completely out of bounds for the German government.
All right, Dr Henning Meyer, thanks very much for talking to us.
Thanks you for having me. Cheers.